Son of a beeswax.
Okay. And we are good to go.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Noon is correct. Well, to
Okay.
everybody.
Well, can you
Saying
hear
you're
me?
correct by saying good afternoon.
Okay,
Yes,
but
I can hear you.
okay. All right, because we are experiencing technical difficulties as usual.
Nothing new.
Frustrating, I'll tell you. I was in a panic there for a little bit, thinking I was going to have to work on our cell phone. And there's Blue Rose
And a crackle.
and a Crackle's in the house. Do we hear him? Yes, we hear you,
Wrong
Crackle.
here
Yeah.
in 3 different ways.
Uh-huh.
No question marks, so punctuation, there's a point off.
No
You is spelled
capitalization.
wrong.
Yeah, no
No
capitalization.
capitalization.
Mm-hmm. And no
I
profile pic.
I can't really blame him.
I know.
Oh, what a morning. Oh, wait, no,
No,
it's not morning, it's
it's
afternoon.
afternoon. Come on, snack. Wake up. Wakey, wakey.
No,
Yeah,
no.
Crackle's right is right. Oh, if only I could be lulled back to sleep. I've been up since 1 a.m.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. This is getting old, this staying up bullshit.
Oh, that is also a very true statement.
Yep. And then I just realized about 10 minutes ago I never took any of my morning meds, but
Oh,
oh
that's not a
well.
good thing.
No, but I'll no, I'll just take the evening ones a little bit earlier. I don't know. I was busy. Jacob was here and Eric's been vacuuming, so I'm not
Did
gonna
you
have
guys get the desk put up?
no, because I have stuff I have to move. I thought I was gonna use the laptop and I realized that if we started to move stuff that I it might not get put back together, and then I realized that stuff had to be cleaned, moved, waxed, all of that. So it's not in yet,
Mhm.
but it's on the porch.
Well,
So
that's better than where it could be.
it
Could be
was in
still
the
at the
truck.
other person's
It
house.
it was right. Well, it was in the business, and then it was in the truck for several days. So
Oh,
it has now
it's one
made its
step
way.
closer.
Right. It's now made its way to the porch and it is filthy from, all the work and the dust and the dirt. But it's the strangest looking desk I've ever seen. I can't quite make out, like I know what a secretarial desk is. I know, an office desk. This was like they took an office desk and went with a wand and shrunk it down a little bit. It's weird, but we'll give it has to be better than what I'm using now. So
Yeah.
anything's better than what I'm using now. But we'll get
Mhm.
hopefully this week it'll get up. And then maybe we'll be able to get real legit and get the microphone that we originally ordered for the laptop. And then maybe we could figure out what the 7-second lag is. That would
Yeah.
be funny because there you are counting on your fingers. Big finger, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, baby finger. Huh.
Oh, yep, that's how we count when there's a lag.
There you go. All right. So what are we
Why
going to do?
can't I find any decent news coverage of
Of
that
what?
one that we were just talking about before coming in that is more than 2 minutes long?
I have no idea. There was a lot of coverage on it. I mean, a lot. And now you're saying it's not there?
Just 1 and 2-minute videos other than a Benny Johnson video.
Oh wow.
Everything
Oh,
is under 3 minutes.
that means they're trying to sweep that under the rug too. Because
Uh-huh.
there was some pretty uh longer videos about that. That's interesting. Hmm. We'll have to do
Yep.
a little bit of digging. You know what? I'm tired of digging today. My hands, I've ripped 3 fingernails. I'm tired of digging. After that little piece that Blue Rose had to send over that we'll get into, that turned into a way more than I expected to be, you know. I just thought we'd read
That
those little,
little bit,
yeah,
that quick video from TikTok from X
yeah,
turned
that,
to
yeah,
be
a night, not
much,
a night,
much
yeah,
more than it appeared to be.
yeah, not a nightmare, but Jesus, it's all over the place.
It's a
I'm
deep
just,
story. It
yeah,
is
it
a
is.
deeper dive, a quick 1-minute video,
Yep.
if that.
I'm I'm thinking that I should give it to you for questions that need answers.
There's a lot to
There's a
it.
lot there.
There is a
Bec-
lot.
and when we get to it, you decide if you want it, you can have it. If not, we'll do it together on Rex Sisters. But
I'd
there's
rather
the
do it on Rex Sisters
okay.
because it is a good one worth covering.
Yeah, I mean, and why is it resurrected now? You know what I mean? That's another interesting piece because that's from 2013. So
No,
why is
2008. It was
right,
from
but
2008.
right, but the video uh the video where the guy's talking is from 13.
Oh, from
Yeah.
13. Okay.
So why is it all being resurrected again is my question. But when we get to
Very
it,
good question.
yeah, when we get to it, it's just amazing how one little blurb, one little paragraph, everything that we've done, Crazy Bee, I mean, just like Ukraine, we never even delved into.
We thought it was gonna be a little bit,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, this only take a couple days at most."
Right.
Holy
You know
shit.
what?
Do we find
Yeah,
topics?
I actually forgot about all that till just now, till I said that. Uh,
Mhm.
Look at how we never even touched upon the money.
Yeah,
Where was the money and where did the money go?
because we only got so far that it keeps going to these shell corporations to
Mm-hmm.
be handed out to people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
I mean, it never would have stopped. I mean,
yeah,
we could,
we could have kept going.
right,
It's like,
it
"Oh,
could.
this company divides it up amongst these people," and yes, a lot of it came back to the military complex here where we're building equipment and machines and weapons and
Mm-hmm.
ammo, but still, where'd the rest of it go? And that's
Exactly.
harder to find than the
Right,
stuff that traces back to America, and we
right.
haven't even gotten into that.
I know. We didn't
That
even
would have
touch it.
taken us the economy, we could have kept going for another
Oh,
year
well, I
and
think we,
still not covered every aspect of it.
well, I do hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I do believe I sent one little piece, one little thing about the tariffs, just one little baby piece that I wanted you
I
to.
don't even know what I didn't see it. Where
One
was
li-
it?
Oh, I sent it to you in your DMs. I'll be happy to send it again. I'll read it actually. You don't have to.
Oh, is it the articles?
Uh-huh.
I was just about to get those pulled up.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that. So, technically we're
Oh,
done.
that Irish Star article. I see it now.
Yeah. Uh so technically we're done with the economy, but I don't think that given everything that's going on, we'll always have little bits to say here and there when they pertain to you guys that we want you to know some information that's going on. But thank God that's over. You know what I mean? Like that was like a living nightmare. That was like growing and growing and growing. And the people that participated in the chat, in the Discord, we appreciate you. Uh, all the comments that you had to make. You gave us a lot of food for thought. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. There was a lot to think about in addition to what we presented. Um, Ideas, concepts. We spent a whole
Mhm.
day just on new definitions that we didn't even, anticipate but felt was important for you to know. So now that everybody knows how the economy works in the United
Or
States,
a rough idea of how the
yeah.
economy works.
Would you
I would
even
say
call
rough
it a rough
idea.
idea? I'd call it like
An
a
inkling
glimpse.
of
How
how
about a
it works?
glimpse? An inkling?
Okay, a glimpse
An
works.
inkling? An inkling, a glimpse. Those are two good definitions. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you want to know more, I think we might have a couple experts in the chat that might be able to come up on stage and speak upon it. Uh, and what else do we got going on? Today's
Uh,
Sunday clean out the files day. So we have so much stuff in there that I'm not sure we're going to get through everything today. And what we don't, we'll save for Friday or next Sunday. But uh, it's
mhm.
stuff that we've been saving up, things that we have found that we wanted to bring to your attention. Um, I'd like to remind everybody to please what? Like, comment, follow, subscribe, join the Discord, all of that happy stuff. Hey Art, hey MJ, happy Sunday to both of you. I'm hoarse, I can hardly talk. The weather here and the allergies are just like crazy. Watery eyes, I can hardly read the screen even. I think Crazy Bee's in the same boat, so
My eye is still itchy and swollen.
Is it? Well,
Oh yeah. So,
uh-oh.
ugh.
Crackle's leaving us. Have a good work day, Crackle. Make sure
Alrighty.
make sure you hit that like button on your way out, or I'll be looking for you. I know where you're at, Crackle.
Oh, good luck getting there. That's
Yeah,
the
I
other
know.
thing.
You know what? Don't dis you know what? You discount me out just so much. You just have no idea. You are gonna shit
I
your
couldn't
pants.
travel like that.
You are gonna shit your pants when I show up at your door with that frickin' frying pan. I mean, you're not gonna
Uh-huh.
the kids will be in shock. Danny will be in shock. You won't know what to do. Mhm.
Well, until then, we
Oh,
assume, like me, you're not getting much into the traveling. You're building up your strength to come and take it out all at once, right?
yeah, I could do like a tour. I could do a US tour. You know what I mean? Because there's different
A
places
frying pan tour.
tour. Yeah, there's different places I need to stop and use that. I could start, in the north and work my way down south and then head out west.
Okay, that works.
Don't yawn. Don't. Please
I
don't.
have to. I'm.
Crazy
Y-
bee, don't start. If you start that, we're out. We're done. We'll be done. The
Sorry.
show will be over before we even get started.
Could be worse. They just
Mhm.
hear us snoring
I
for
don't
two
snore.
hours.
I don't snore fortunately.
Mm.
Well,
I
we could
unfortunately
test
do.
that. You do? Okay. We could test
Yes.
that theory out. Okay. I
Too many
think I
times
caught.
my nose has been broken and too much inflammation from the swelling from
Yeah,
allergies,
right.
and it causes me to snore a lot.
No, I just talk in my sleep and give orders. Remember, I have what did we say? It was no,
Post
E
work
work
stress
stress
disorder,
disorder. PW what? Post
SD.
work. Okay, SD. All right, that's what I have.
Should be a new form of
Right, mental disease,
like
mental illness.
trauma,
Yeah,
a
mental
kind of
trauma.
trauma.
Uh-huh. I think we should go for that. I think that would be a
I
good.
wonder what the therapist would say.
I don't know, but I'd like to be the first patient that was ever recorded on record that has it. What do you think?
That would be interesting, but you could
Mhm.
always join a therapist, do therapy and see what they say. Like, hey, yeah, definitely the circumstance here.
Uh-huh. They'd say they'd say go confront all of those people. That's what they'd say.
No, you could get a lawsuit for stress and undue um,
Hard. Yeah.
damages,
Well. Yeah.
mental hardship
Mhm.
from it. Because now your family can't sleep because you're telling them to go file reports and deadlines because of them.
Yeah. Eric's like he's got to be up in the filing cabinet, right? Get this tab. Pull this file. Yeah. Right. Uh-huh. Then I wake up and stuff's all over the kitchen table. That's funny.
I would be the smartass who did that. You
I
know
know.
that.
I know you would. Yeah, I'd come
Even
in
if I
my
had to print some shit up, makeshift shit, I
there
would do that.
there'd be files and stuff all over the place, opened up, written hand pens everywhere and shit. Oh, that'd be funny as all hell.
Oh my god, I would have
That
so much
would
fun with
that
that.
would because I do. I give orders, Crazy bee, get this done. It's due by Friday. Oh, hell. Just
Oh,
some
I would be the smart ass
I
leaving
know.
everything everywhere for you. Like, what is all this shit? You
There'd
told
be
me to
white
get it.
Yep, there'd be white out bottles and Sharpie pens everywhere, magic markers, highlighters. Oh yeah. Yeah, and I was one of those idiots that bought all of my own office supplies, all of my own staplers, you know, uh everything from at the office. I didn't use anything that was standardized. I had to have all kind of, fancy crap. So, yes, even down to scissors and paper clips and You'd be down there. You'd probably take my paper clips, my colored paper clips, and sprinkle them on the table. Oh, sugar.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would be that one.
I know. That's why we're not going to live together in our old age.
You'd just get sick of me.
I don't know. You might get sick of me. So, anyway.
Art says I still have dreams of being late for class or completely forgetting the topic, and I've been out of that for 20 years at least.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. It's been 20 years, and why is it? That your mind has to go there. It can't be like some pleasant dream, like Eric,
Oh
go
no.
down to the lottery machine and play 201, box it, Here's the six digits for uh, why can't it be the lottery number? Huh?
Never.
I
Never.
know. I know. It's never the good stuff. Still always got to be aggravated, even in my sleep. Probably that's why I
Oh,
don't sleep.
that might be.
Uh huh. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, maybe we'll find a therapist when we're done. What you got up
That's true.
first for
Maybe
us?
you will find one.
Yeah. What do you got up first for us?
What I got up first is that article you were talking about from the
Okay.
Irish Star.
All
And
right.
I am not very good at speaking Irish or the Irish accent. I usually tend to mix it with Scottish, and I
Oh,
get
this
some kind of
is.
hybrid.
Oh, this wasn't the one I was talking about, but we could go with that.
You
I
sent
know
it.
I sent it, but hold on, people, because there was that we can do that one too, but there was the
Um,
good news one, if you recall. Hold on, let me find it.
no, I don't. I'm
All
looking
right.
through all the other stuff we were pulling up and researching this morning.
All right. See, this is what happens when
Are you sure
this
you sent it in DMs and not in the actual
yes,
forum?
I have it right here, babe. It's coming across again. Do 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 do. See, folks, how she tries to work things, saying, "You never sent it to me."
I see the one I sent you. I see the Ronald Reagan thing, that little
Hold
girl
up,
at
up! Don't be
I see
telling
the Kathy
everybody everything.
Gifford. I see the Irish source.
Okay,
I
there
see
you
the
go.
thing on
It's
Tim
there you go.
Pool.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
There's the
It's
Wall Street Apes one.
all
There's the
right.
body language analysis, and then it gets into what
All
we were
right, there
looking
you go.
into.
I just sent it again, dear. Calm down.
I know, but I'm just point. Oh, that was that Donald Trump
Yeah,
post on
it's
Truth
calm
Social.
down. Your voice is being
I
raised. Calm down.
Well, yeah. You want to know why? Because this is one a Truth Social post, not an
Uh,
article
oh, well,
that
whatever.
got carried over to X. That's why
Whatever.
I couldn't see it. You said an article. I'm looking for an actual article link.
Article. My bad. I apologize.
That's why I couldn't find it.
What's that? I'm sorry for my fault.
No, I just
I'm
no
sorry
wonder why
for
I
my
don't
fault.
understand what you're talking
I
about.
know nobody knows. They'll find out one day on Insomniac Theater, but I'm sorry for my fault. All right, so I don't even
Hold on,
remember
I
who.
gotta share it.
Well, yeah. Are we not going to do this one?
Oh,
Uh,
we will, but I have
okay.
the other one too readily available to pull up next if we need it.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see what this article is. This is from the Irish Star. I am part Irish, but I am not even going to attempt to speak any Irish, Gaelic, whatever today. So
This is
this
more
is
English based, not
right.
Gaelic.
Donald Trump loses the plot as he compares tariff flip flop to running through a wall. This is from April the 9th.
Hmm.
Mhm. After Donald Trump increased the reciprocal tariffs, he slapped on China to 125% on Wednesday and announced a 90-day pause on all other trade tariffs. He told a reporter questioning his credibility that you have to be flexible. As Trump spoke to reporters at a press conference After changing his mind on the tariffs, a reporter questioned him, asking, "What is your credibility like? Because you said that these tariffs would go into effect on Monday. You said no pause, and today there is a pause." Trump, who was accused of not knowing what who he's talking about by former advisor John Bolton, smiled as he answered, "So, yeah, it's not a question of that. You have to have flexibility. I could say, here's a wall, and I'm going through that wall. I'm going to go through it no matter what. Keep going, and you can't go through the wall. Sometimes you have to be able to go under the wall, around the wall, or over the wall. These guys know that better than anybody, right? These guys know that better than anybody, right?
Oh, let me get down to the bottom. There it is.
You've got to go around them sometimes. You're not going to go through them," Trump went on. "So I consider, I think in financial markets because they change. Look how much it changed today. We went from pretty moderate today, but over the last few days it looked pretty glum. I guess they say it was the biggest day in financial history. That's a pretty big change. And I think the word would be flexible. You have to be flexible," finished the president. Reactions to the statements were mixed, as some Trump fans, what the heck, try again, D slap. Trump fans argued, "President Trump's unpredictability is an asset. If you don't get that, then that's the point," according to one X user. Most reactions chastised Trump for going back and forth. He didn't expect pushback and is trying to justify caving, writes another user.
We'll see about that.
Another argues small business
Whoops.
owners can't be flexible when costs spike overnight. Farmers can't be flexible when markets disappear, one joked. He couldn't go through the wall of China, he had to go under it, and Xi was waiting on the other side. Despite the flip flop, Trump's cabinet considers today a victory. Senior counselor for trade and manufacturing, Peter Navarro, has hailed President Donald Trump's decision to pause his Liberation Day tariffs for 90 days as one of the greatest days in American economic history. The claim was made by Navarro during an appearance on Fox Business. "This is one of the greatest days in American economic history we have had," Navarro, 75, lauded to the show's host. "I think we're going to call it the art of the reciprocal trade deal, and I'll tell you all the nervous Nellies on Wall Street who try to undermine us consistently underestimated the power of the president to negotiate."
And I believe that's it. Yep, that's it for the article.
And this really goes to those that I believe are, on the right, on the center, on the left, uh, those that we have in our chat, in the comments, that have more experience than you and I do, crazy being this stuff,
Yep.
uh, that have disagreed with how Trump has handled things. I, for one, for not knowing jack shit about all of it, the little bit that I know, I look at this article and I'm like, I pray that it's true. I hope that he can pull it off. Nobody has ever attempted, my lifetime to do any of this. They've always talked a good game, and nobody's ever done jack shit. I recognize that he alone can't do it, that we need Congress and other support, and I just hope he can get them to go along as well. And we have what, 3.5 years to try to pull this off. That's all. I mean, I don't
And
know what else we can
Art
do.
Art chimed in from what I've read. China canceled a large soybean order from the U.S. mid ocean and shifted to buy from Brazil. If they can buy from other people, why do we have to buy from China? Why can't we buy from somewhere else? That's a good question. If they can buy from Brazil, why do we have to buy from China?
right?
I'm truly curious. Why is it we have to? If they don't have to buy from us, why do we have to buy anything from them? I'm really curious on this.
Is
I
that
mean, I get it. We
because
don't make some things in like the manufacturing, like of computer components and stuff. But everyone keeps saying, "Well, if I have a shipment from China, well, why the fuck are you buying from China?" That's my
mm,
question. Let's go
right,
a little bit further. Like,
right?
just
Hmm.
curious, why are we buying from China? Maybe I'm weird,
I
but
don't know. We
I'm
could
just
play the
wondering.
tit for tat game. You know what I mean? You just canceled something from us. Uh, I'll cancel something from you. Let's see how far it goes. Because I think
Mhm.
that's kind of where we're at. I mean, I hate to be that way, but at this point, what other things do we do with China to get them to come to the table or to recognize that you know we're done playing games, we're done with you stealing our IP, we're done with getting screwed, monetarily. What again? I haven't seen anybody, and I want to argue this with our people in the comments and the chat, that I haven't seen anything put on the table of what he could be doing differently to make it better. What plans, what could we do? I haven't seen it. Not one person, not from the Dem side, that have come across and said, his plan sucks, but here's our idea. I mean, we went back and
Actually,
showed
I've
that,
never even heard of "Here's my idea." Just his
yeah,
sucks for these.
yeah. But
No
yet,
alternative presented.
right, but we went back how far, Crazy B, where the Dems said tariffs were the way to go. Schumer,
That was all the way back in the 90s.
yeah, Schumer, Pelosi, the Clintons,
It's
Obama,
all part of the corruption stuff that we have set aside.
yeah, the Bushes, all of them. They all said, here, tariff, tariff, tariff. Uh, and now that somebody's going to try to hold other countries accountable, and really remember again the whole Mark Twain ants in the jar, the ants are in the jar, and Trump's doing the shaking. And I don't know where it's going to come out, but, you know,
Oh, I wouldn't exactly use that as a great analogy for this circumstance because that's more about pitting people against each other to distract them so they don't
well,
see what you're actually doing. Um,
I'm looking at it as from a country standpoint, the US against China, and and Trump shaking the jar. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it as
oh, Art
individual.
says provide incentive, tax breaks, etc., with slow increase in tariffs. I said it on Discord. I missed
Oh,
that part.
me too. You need to underline stuff you want us to know.
There's a
I'm
lot
sorry.
of there's a lot of back and forth, so I did miss that, but that is actually a really good idea then. And I know he is
Okay,
giving tax
so
breaks to companies that
right.
are offering to come here instead.
Okay, so if
Um,
okay, Art, so if that's the case, if that's the answer, why hasn't that been done? Has it even been tried?
and good afternoon, cannabis.
Hey, Cannabis, how you doing?
This is the joys of
And yeah, and
our
Art's
economy being
yeah,
back. Our economy and stuff is really held at the behest of our frickin' politicians. If
correct.
it if it piques their fancy today, they'll do it. But if not, no, we're not going to do it.
Right. And in the
So we're
meantime, we
literally
suffer.
just screwed.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, we suffer.
Um, and then
Why don't you go
oh,
ahead and pull up the next, if you have it available, the next, what do you want me to call that? An X,
X post. Yeah,
an
from
X
Benny
post.
Johnson.
Okay, I'll have to get my terminology. Here's the next X post, not
Let
known as
me
an article.
enlarge this.
Yeah, not known as an
There we go.
article. not an article.
However, I am concerned because there is no date or time linked with this Trump post from Truth Social. They
Hmm.
didn't catch it in there, so I don't like when they don't put the date and time that they this was originally posted, because anybody could type this up and make it look like a legitimate post even though it isn't.
So we're saying we are going to be cautious of this post. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, there has been some, yeah, in the news about this, that he was going to try to have the tax breaks or eliminate it altogether. So it is a possibility. There is truth behind it. Uh, we There has been previous articles, previous. I believe he actually even made some statements regarding that. But
And it's actually funny because as we were talking about this, Danny shoves his phone in my face, and well, not so rudely this time, but he was showing me an article that popped up on X saying something very similar, but with less details.
okay, uh, the when tariffs cut in, many people's income taxes will be substantially reduced, maybe even completely eliminated. Focus will be on people making less than 200,000 a year. Also, massive numbers of jobs are already being created with new plants and factories currently being built or planned. It will be a bonanza for America. The External Revenue Service is happening. Um, so, if this is true, this would be
Oh,
fantastic.
Blue
Oh,
Rose sent a copy of it that was from April 27th at 8:06 a.m.
okay.
So that was from very early this morning. Thank you, Blue Rose, for sending me the link to the one with the names and with the dates and stuff on it. I greatly appreciate it.
That's interesting. Because that's okay. We'll have to figure out how that happened. That transfer. Okay. Thank you, Blue Rose. Not sure
Well,
how
it's
that's
just because of the way he cropped the screenshot. The way
okay.
he Benny Johnson took this and he cropped it, but he cut out the date
The
and
date
time
and
of
the
the
time.
original
I see.
post.
Gotcha.
And so, but like I said, when people do that, I have seen people do this with stuff from Biden where they cropped it, edited out what was originally typed, and
Mm-hmm.
then put in something completely different.
Gotcha.
You can copy the fonts and stuff that are used,
Right, right.
and it's just a nightmare when people start doing that. We have a M337. What's up, sisters? Hello. I'm
Hello.
not sure who this is. Oh, they know cannabis. So, all right, that
All
makes
right.
it
Welcome.
makes
Thank you
sense.
for joining us this oh, I almost said this morning. See, Crazy Bee? You got me started on the morning now too.
It's morning somewhere, like it's 5 o'clock somewhere, according to what's his face,
Yeah.
who did that song.
Uh-huh. Here
Why
we go.
can't I think of the name
Don't
now?
start. Don't start.
Um,
Margaritaville
Jimmy
by
Buffett.
Thank you. Here we
Sorry,
go. Pulling teeth. Here we go. We're pulling teeth.
took me a minute. It's one of my favorite songs, and I freaking couldn't remember Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
Buffett.
Mm-hmm. Here we
Now
go.
you know my brain is hurting bad. Um, but yeah, if this does work out, let's say his plan does work, great. If it doesn't, make some tweaks to it, make some adjustments. Um,
Here goes Art again. Go ahead, Art. Put Art up.
I'm sorry, but that Trump post just tells me he has no clue who pays the tariffs. Customs collects the tariffs when you pick up the goods at the port. China doesn't pay the tariffs. The US company does. Yeah, I know. I did notice that. And again, and it's like, eh, maybe I don't know. I don't. There's got to be a way to make this better for everybody and balanced out, not over the top, killing each other with tariffs. And again, yeah, it's the companies, and then the companies make that money back by raising the cost of the product.
To the consumer, correct?
But my thing is why are we buying any of this stuff from China? Can't we get similar products elsewhere? If I
Right,
mean it's such a free market and everybody could make it, why are we only buying these things from China?
because they're the cheapest goods. That's why.
Well, we're going to end up having to pay it in tariffs or a little bit more for a different quality or better quality possibly.
Well, like I said, I would hope that we would be buying our American flags from American companies and not from China.
We don't have an American flag company as far
We
as I
do.
know.
We
Oh,
do.
we
There
do?
is one. Yeah, there is one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh yeah, we have one. Um
But I still just don't understand why we have to buy so much
and
from
so much
China.
stuff because we gave it away. We gave manufacturing away. We don't do it here, and plus we are America is notorious for what? Buy it when, it's no good, you discard it. Back in the day, you treasured, pieces of furniture. Now when you don't like what that dresser looks like, you pick it up, you either throw it in the trash or you donate it to Goodwill. Uh, your
Not us.
clothes.
We can't afford
I
that
know,
shit.
I know, but a lot of people do, crazy B.
A lot of
Look at your
people are stupid.
they take their clothes and look at how often clothes are, change from season to season. And, uh,
Nope. I
well,
don't do that. I still have clothes from 15 years ago,
mm, so do I.
and I still wear them routinely.
Until they get a hole in them and then you still wear them, don't you?
I stitch up the hole and I
Hmm.
make it last as long as possible. Yes,
Well,
that's the way I was raised. You use it till you can't use it no more, and once you can't wear it no more, you cut it up and you use it for rags for cleaning your house or
correct.
cleaning and working on the car. At present, China is the only one who can provide goods at scale, or perhaps are the only producers. Until that changes in a few years, we're stuck with China. Doesn't mean I like it. This is where again we've become so dependent on the Chinese market. Like I should literally be able to say, "Oh, well, China wants to be assholes about this and charge us this much on tariffs." And we don't. We shouldn't. I mean, we shouldn't be worried about re-tariffing them back or just stopping buying their products.
Hmm.
I mean, we should not have to be in this predicament where we can't decide. You know what? China's screwing us over on shoes. I'm going to go to Eastern Europe and buy shoes from Eastern Europe country. No, it's like China's got everyone so beholden to them. And a friend of mine was sent me a video from Mexico. China's like, "Oh, hey, we'll start this company here." And then they're like, "Okay, you know what? Let us move in these 400 Chinese people to help teach you guys how to run these machines." And then they fired a bunch of the Mexican workers, like all of the Mexican workers, and are now running the company with all Chinese employees that they immigrated there. And that's not helping Mexico. It's helping China. Mexico's getting pissed off. There's actual fights happening outside the businesses where people are facing off. I've seen videos of it. And again, this is where China is really pissing off a lot of the world right now with this trying to put a stranglehold on everything. Instead of helping other places, they only want them to benefit. I want to see everyone bring each other up.
Well,
And like I
that's.
said, well, we're still in an enclosed globe. Until we start trading with other planets, we've got to find a way to balance this out.
Wait,
No one's going to be a top
wait,
competitor.
hold on. Wait a second. You said until we start trading with other planets?
Yeah, it's never going to happen in our lifetime. That's my point.
You mean like planets like out in the galaxy? Is that what you mean?
Yes, because
Oh,
we're in a closed environment for
okay.
sales.
I'm
We
just
can't sell anywhere but other parts of the globe that we live
correct.
on, right?
Correct. Yes.
Everything on this planet gets made, used, dis- disposed of all in one place, this entire planet.
Correct.
Where
So
else are we
what
going to send
what
it to?
so
Who
what
else?
Trump
What other
so
incomes are we going to be
right.
bringing in?
So what Trump is attempting to do is bring, and so far I think they have seen it, is he's trying to bring all these countries in to the towards the United States and against China. That's part of the
Well,
plan.
not so much against China, but to
As
level
far
out the
no,
field for other countries to start making money as well, not just
no, it
America.
no, not just America, but it is truly against China for their
Well, yeah, because of their
China's dominance.
stranglehold.
Yeah, they have a stranglehold right now on a lot of things. You know, with what they're trying to do down in South America, with what they were trying to do in the Panama Canal, with what they're trying to do, with Taiwan and some of the other countries. They're trying to get a foothold in a lot of places, and I don't think that if we don't take some type of action, or, other countries don't try to get on board, we're they're we're going to be in a little bit of a predicament, unless we're truly facing the emperor's new clothes situation, which we don't know what's reality, what's real and what isn't at this point,
Yeah.
right? We still have that theory going on out there. But I don't believe that for 1 minute. I truly don't believe the emperor's new clothes theory.
Well, all I can know is that we have to start something. If it doesn't work, we can tweak it. If it's not going to work properly, we'll adjust it. We just got to start something. We
Mhm.
can't keep staying stagnant the way we have been.
Right, right,
We're quickly becoming a third world country because we sent all of our industry to third world countries instead of dividing it up and expanding it to work with them and keeping some here but expanding some there. No, we just shipped 90% of it overseas and it's just assembled in America now.
right,
And that's one of my biggest issues. I mean, I get it. We have to get some like our clothing fabrics. A lot of the fabrics we cannot produce silk in America like China and different parts of Asia can produce silk. We don't have the means to do it. We're not the right climate. We're not the right trees or bugs. And we can't exactly bring them in because then you get your invasive species like we see all the time. And so, yeah, we have to trade with some countries on some things. But does it have to be so one sided? Just because we can afford it doesn't mean we should have to be doing that. We shouldn't have to pay 3 times what they sell it to somebody else. I think it should be an across the board pricing. Or maybe, have a cap on it. I don't know. There's got to be a better way than just threatening each other with it like this. And again, China don't give a shit about no other countries. They only care about them because they chose to go with the communist route, which means they really are screwed if it came down to it. And like they were saying, they put all their industry, all the money coming in into housing and real estate. But here's the problem, half their people can't afford it
right,
because they're working for pennies on the dollar and then everything's being overcharged on the way out. In the country, the government handles what money comes in and out. And that's not okay either. So again, that's our opinion of what is and isn't okay. Their people might, well, obviously their people are not happy with it. Otherwise they wouldn't be fleeing to America and other countries.
right,
So hold up, let's correct this. Obviously, their people are not okay with it. It's not even so much what our opinion is. Their own people are being told you cannot leave unless we can track you. And by the way, we're putting up police departments in all these other countries around the world to stalk you. So obviously, some of these countries are not okay with it. Look at North Korea, same thing. We can't produce coffee, which means we have to buy it from a country who can afford or doesn't want anything we produce. But according to Trump, that country is ripping us off. That too. And this is where, again,
Yeah, so who determines there needs to be a fair price in the coffee? What, they just get to charge us whatever they want? And that's
well,
supposed to
yeah, they
be
can put a price on it, but good luck
exactly.
fighting from
And
somewhere else.
exactly. And that's supposed to be acceptable. So it's either you have the money and you pay for it or you do without. So it's all going to be
I'm
about
notorious for doing without
right, but a
because
lot
I
of
can't afford a
mhm,
lot of things.
right. And Crazy B, I would say you're the exception maybe rather than the rule. I don't know that for a fact,
Well, there
but
was a time in America when it was the way
the
it
rule,
went.
I know it was,
That's what
it,
I don't get
mhm.
is what the hell happened?
I mean, here you talk about stupid kinds of things, from a money perspective, or, you think you're going to save a penny here or there. I'll still take a tea bag, and I don't like my tea steeped, a whole lot. So I'll take it and I'll dip it and I'll save that tea bag for a second cup of tea. And
And
you would,
when
you
we're
would,
done using up the tea bags like that, we then turn around and use the tea itself. We dry it
mhm,
out and we put it into composting.
right. Or you put it in a plant and you take your coffee grinds and put it in a plant, or you take your
Yes.
eggshells and do something with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's that's just the way I was raised.
Hmm.
I don't know any other way. Oh, my car broke down. Well, you know what? I'm going to fix it instead of going 30,000 in debt for a new one. Like I guess I just can't wrap my head around this wasteful group, this culture. We're the throwaway culture. While other countries are barely getting by, when we could save a shit ton of money if we quit buying so much. There used to be a time where you didn't throw your shoes away and go buy a new pair. You took them to a cobbler and you got them repaired.
Oh yeah, I can remember going to the cobbler, so to say,
Yeah.
that would fix your shoes, your boots, whatever. You'd have cleats or
Actually, in a
whatever
way,
put on them.
China
Yeah.
does have a say. Hold on one second. In a way, China does get away in what with how much we charge by adding those tariffs. We have no choice but to jack up the rates because of this. So in a way, they are controlling how much we charge for it. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes sense. I mean, oh, well, you know what? We want to rip them off. And again, but China's the one who gets the money from the tariffs they set on us. So when we order something from China, we've got to pay them so much. And then when we bring it into America, we have to pay them so much as well. So no matter what, we're getting taxed out the nose. When you order something from China, you got to pay their tariff rate to send it to America, as well as what America sets on importing from China. You're getting screwed either way.
And then the one thing I find even more interesting is after you make that purchase, let's say I want to sell something, a pair of shoes that I might have only worn once or twice, or a jacket that I never wore, and I go to sell that maybe to you, Crazy Bee. Do you know I get taxed on the sale of that when I sell that to you?
If you sell it through a public means instead of a
Uh huh.
private sale where we meet up on
Right.
the side of the road or behind
Right.
a gas station.
Uh huh. We'll have to meet in the middle of the night.
Hmm. Yes, you can be taxed. Actually, you can be taxed for making so much in a yard sale in many
Right.
states.
Correct. Yep. And
Yes, I've
by the
seen that
way,
happen.
you need a permit to have a yard sale in most states.
Yes. You got to pay to sell stuff. Then
Mhm.
if you make so much on it, you got to pay tax on it.
Mhm.
So you no matter what, everything is screwing the little guy over.
Right. Tax after tax after tax.
And it's not just even the tariffs. I'm talking taxes all around. And again, this is being done without Congress, who is supposed to be in charge of what is taxed and what isn't on a federal level. And that's one thing that does bother me. Even though I want to see something change, it does bother me that
Oh,
Trump
would do
started
you
Congress.
remember do you do you remember if we were going to provide that chart on tariffs to the group? Remember? And it went down to like the little itty bitty items, like the cream on top of the creamer was 6% of the cream was taxed at that rate. Do you remember that chart that we found?
Yes,
Remember?
to the
You
individual products that go into it, there is a tariff
right.
on a
It
whole
was
product that gets sent over. You get taxed for the parts that make it up. And yes, I
yes,
agree. We're not going to fix this in 3 years, Art. You've heard me say it.
right.
This could take over a. It took over a century to get us
To
into this
do it,
mess,
right. It's not
starting way back.
right,
This is not going to happen in 3 years. We just
right,
need to get it started. We need to get this started somehow. And yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to suck, but I want to get this started. I just, we need to start balancing out. And again, we have South Korea and various other countries moving manufacturing to the US to compensate for what we've moved over elsewhere. And I
right,
believe we have moved some countries to some industry to South Korea. So there's no harm in them sending some back to us.
right.
Again, there are countries that are working with us, and Mexico's just gotten a rude awakening now that the Chinese have decided to move in their own employees
Mhm.
and screw over the Mexicans. So you watch if they don't come and start having some conversations with us.
Yeah, I don't think the Chinese have met the cartels yet.
I don't know. That would be an interesting standoff. If
Uh-huh.
you look at what their triad type, there's
I know.
their major gangs are the
I
triads over
know.
there. But the cartels versus the triads, I'd get the fuck out of Mexico if that comes down to it.
Start moving. Start moving.
Get the fuck up out of Dodge.
Yep. If you live around that manufacturing plant, put your house up for sale.
Well, I was being
Well, you
told
want
that
if it's any consolation, the the Chinese restaurants we have here, right, had Chinese cooks. They've been replaced by Mexican cooks. So our
yes,
our
you know how many Mexican Chinese restaurants I go into and it's Mexican people working in
yes.
there?
So our Chinese food has turned into
A
Mexican
Mexican version of
Chinese.
Chinese.
has turned has turned into Mexican Chinese. It's the funniest thing.
Art just added a whole new complex to this
Okay.
complex statement. You also get a tax on in inventory in the United States.
Oh
So if
yeah.
you hold product in excess of what you sell or stock up due to tariffs, you will pay an extra. Really? This is bullshit.
Yeah. And you know when
This
you
is
die,
absolute.
you know when you die you pay taxes too. So
Yeah.
it's
And now I was also another fun fact I was told about Mexico is you don't have monthly electric bills, water bills, anything like that. It's yearly. It is not monthly.
well,
So
what's
you
the
have an
difference?
entire year to save up your rent
Yeah.
or your car payments, whatever the bills are. They are yearly, not monthly.
Well, you just divide it by 12, that's all. I mean, what, I go down, I get an apartment, I don't have to pay for 12 months? Is that what you're saying?
As far as I know, there is no monthly rent, is the way it was explained to me.
Hmm.
There is no monthly bills. It's only yearly.
Well, you'll have to get some more detail on there. Maybe I'll have to swim across the other side.
Yep, it's just a little interesting tidbit I was
You know,
told.
and get free health care over there.
They don't give free healthcare over there.
You know, but
It
it's way cheaper than it is here, I'll tell you that.
but is the quality the same?
Ah, there's that certain district that I explained to you that we'll have to take a look at one day. That is notoriously famous for excellent care. So that's where I would go. A lot of people
Okay,
go to Mexico for things, plastic surgeries, and
I wouldn't I don't know. Am I
uh,
going into some back thing corner where it's a burned out apartment complex that they just switched into a medical facility? Or am I going I mean, I get the tourist zone ones. Of
yeah.
course, those are gonna be run great, but only the tourists can
I'm
afford to go there,
I'm
not
not
the
going to
everyday
I'm
people.
not going to the back alley one. So don't
I'm
worry.
just
I
saying.
know, I'm just saying too. What let's why are we in we're back in frickin' economics. What are we doing
Well,
here?
one quick thing is he says, "Don't get me started on use taxes. If you haven't run a business, you have no clue."
Oh, we have a small business. I have a huge clue. I have more than a clue. Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know because
I
I've never run a business, but
well,
holy
I'll tell
fudge.
you what,
It sounds ridiculously complicated.
my husband's been in business over 40 years, and for 40 years I bitched about him not being in business cuz I can't stand it. It truly is. You have no idea how you get screwed as a small business owner. It is just it and don't get me started on the requirements that you have
Oh,
liability.
I remember the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
recent ones you went through about
Oh
the,
my god,
zoning
yeah.
commission on where he
Oh,
was
the
putting an
building
air
permit.
conditioner.
Wait, that still isn't solved.
That still isn't solved?
Oh no, they supposedly sent a letter, but we never received it. So I sent them a letter and now I got to call again. Since COVID hit, you can't go in person. Everything's done on their computer website.
Why?
And I don't
Still.
know. I have no idea. And it went to wait, it went to zoning. I have no idea why it's in zoning, but it is now 3 weeks and we still don't have the permit. You know, Crazy B, every time I deal with them, it's never right. Something's wrong. It costs money all the time. It just the cost of doing business. It just is unbelievable. Tomorrow I'll be screaming, trust me. It's
Oh my
unbelievable.
god.
I mean, for every job, there's permit costs. You have to have liability, workers' compensation, you know, uh, your auto, your vehicle insurance has to be higher in the event that you're in an automobile accident, let alone, if you should kill somebody, whatever. I mean, we carry several $1 million worth on, certain policies and stuff. It's just, let
Pure
alone,
insanity.
it is. It just is. By the time it's all said and done, I say he works way too hard for how much money he ends up ultimately getting. He likes to look at, the total
Oh,
there,
and then
but
if you overpay your
oh,
estimated
yes.
tax, there is a
Yep.
fine and a fee.
If
If
you,
you underpay your estimated tax, there's a fine. There's fuck this.
yes. And then, wait, that doesn't include your employee taxes if they're not paid on time or they're not
Okay,
paid.
Art says, "Okay, I'll stop." See,
Thank you,
this is
Art.
what I mean. We
Yeah.
are way overtaxed
Hmm.
every which way we go. No wonder why our costs are so expensive and why nobody wants to buy from us.
Hmm.
We screwed ourselves over,
Right.
and we need to go back and fix it. Stop taxing everybody out the bloody nose. Start cutting your cost in government. You don't
Right.
need that large of a frickin' salary. Go
Well,
screw
that's what.
yourself.
Well, That's why I told you that I read an article and saw a video that's talked about Doge, and that while they're doing good work, there's actual there's hundreds of agencies that are the deep state or the bureaucratic state that nobody has had their hands in for years, and it's the machine that makes it is the grinder, right? And nobody has gone in and touched these files or said, you know what, you guys need to go, we don't need you, or cut back your workforce by 10-15%. They said that in order for this to work, in order for us to reduce government, we need to get into these other areas. You know, what we're seeing right now is the big, pretty stuff. We need to see the real dirt. You know, we need to pull the curtain back. And I hope that they get into that.
It's
I
just
don't,
getting annoying.
I know,
It's like the more you turn around, the more you find. Like I'm amazed we're not taxed for breathing and eating, and well, we get taxed for eating. I mean, the only thing they haven't taxed us for is breathing.
correct. Well, technically, we probably are. That comes under
Oh yeah,
climate.
with that Green New Deal crap that
Yeah,
they
the
want to put out
climate.
on
Yeah,
us.
that's under climate change somehow, I think. Yep.
Mm-mm.
All
Mm-mm.
right. All right, let's
Um,
stop that. Let's
yes,
stop that
let's stop
subject.
while we're
Right?
ahead here.
Yeah.
Um, and jump to our first video.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you, Blue Rose. We're back at economics, but this is important. It is. It really is. And I don't know. I mean, where
well,
do
it
you go?
technically is economics that we're going to continue on.
Oh, it is. I couldn't help it though. This is adorable. This is
You're obsessed with
absolutely.
economics.
I know. This is absolutely adorable.
All right, Ronald Reagan story.
And hold on. Hold on. And Crazy Bee confirmed
I
that
am.
this was, yes, Crazy Bee confirmed that this was not AI generated, that this was said at a actual engagement speech. So go ahead, Crazy Bee.
Okay. And the AI, but the speech itself, the story is um something he has actually told.
It's one of those jokes that hits harder the longer you think about it.
I recently asked my friend's little girl what she wanted to be when she grows up. She said she wanted to be the President of the United States. Both of her parents, liberal Democrats, were standing there. So I asked her, if you were president, what would be the first thing you would do? Well, she replied, I'd give food and houses to all the homeless people. Her parents beamed. Wow, what a worthy goal, I told her. But you don't have to wait until you're president to do that. You see, you can come over to my house right now and you can mow the lawn, pull weeds, and sweep my driveway, and I'll pay you $50. Then, I'll take you over to the grocery store where that homeless guy hangs out, and you can give him the $50 to use toward food and a new house. She thought that over for a few seconds, then she looked me straight in the eye and asked, why doesn't the homeless guy come over and do the work, and you can just pay him the $50? I said, welcome to the Republic. Her parents are still not speaking to me.
And it makes sense. Why does the
Mm,
simplest solution make sense? Why do we got to make it complicated?
right.
Why should we feed and house the homeless when we could give them money to pay for their own? Oh, that's right. We sent all of our jobs overseas. Got it.
Right. Right.
They created the
You know,
crisis and now they want the social welfare system to cover it.
I did you ever see any studies or reports on people that hold up homeless signs and say, I'm homeless, feed me, give me $5, whatever.
Oh, I've seen videos of the scammers that
Yeah,
sit out there and
that
make
are this
$1,000 a day
day.
or
Mm-hmm.
more.
Right. So
Mhm.
that's hard to believe that they use that as actual jobs, that has become creative. Uh,
Yep.
or up in New York City where they were taking their children and having them, the parents were getting high in the room while they had their kids outside selling, fruits or cake or, you know, whatever it is they had to sell. Yeah, I've often wondered. I'd rather take, I mean,
Mm,
there's stories of,
here's one of the best ones I've seen. Kids down in Detroit use the food stamp card to go get cases of water and then sit on the corners where there's high traffic and sell people the water for $1 a bottle. That's one of the best ones I've seen.
that's
Just gonna
pretty,
point this out.
yeah, that's pretty good. That's not bad. Good way to make some money. All right, what Art says, breathing comes with an environmental impact fee. LOL. Most certainly it does.
Mm-hmm.
If you can hold your breath, you pay less.
And what?
Oh,
Because I'm an asthmatic, I get charged more?
probably. Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm pulling up the next video.
Okay.
Um, do we want to do the body language of the Trump and Zelensky meeting, or the Tim Pool one from Liberal Hive Mind,
Let
or the
let's uh
Democrat who switched sides in Florida?
let's look at Tim Pool. I'd like, only because I think it's important for what's going on. Let's do the two Tim Pool things. Um,
Oh, there's only one, not two.
you
Oh
know what?
no, there was
Yeah.
that other one. That was that
Yeah.
other video. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta download that. That was a
You
longer
know
one.
what?
I don't know if we'll have time. Hold
Okay,
on.
no, we'll skip that one then. I know pretty much the gist of that, and pretty much
Okay.
it's covered in the first one anyway. So let's do the
Okay.
Tim Pool one because I think it's indicative of what's going on in the press poll today.
Yep. All right, here's play. Oh, nope, not play yet. Let's transition it so they can see it, and then we hit play.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh boy, it really feels like we are watching the end of the mainstream media. You know, you could really tell that we're in a true transition period, kinda in with the new and out with the old. You could just feel it happen, and also we could see it's happening, as the landscape is now totally changing, and obviously, the mainstream media is in full panic. You know, for decades, they've enjoyed total narrative control, they've gate-kept access to the press room,
Hold on. Albuterol is considered a greenhouse gas, so yes, you get an extra fee. But they took the they took the butane propellant out of it now, and it is just the powder with air compression, so they don't work as good for getting the proper dose out. But yes, they actually adjusted how the albuterol inhalers work to take out the propellant that was originally in it.
What about
Yes,
the the mask kicky that I can't think of the name of when you have to wear
the
your
one
mask?
for the nebulizer.
Thank you, the nebulizer. How would
I
that?
have no clue. I
Okay,
have no clue.
I'll bet
It's
that.
insane.
Uh-huh. I'll bet there's a charge for that.
There's a charge for everything. My God.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Screw.
Crazy Bee, I can't hear you. Uh-oh, Crazy Bee is offline. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. You know she hates when I speak in this voice, so I shall continue. Uh-oh. She's gone for a while. I don't know how to keep you entertained, but if you haven't already liked, commented, subscribed, shared, or followed, please do so right now. You have the time, because obviously she's not back yet. So I should see thumbs up if you're on YouTube, or I should see a like if you're following us on Rumble. If you don't, then I'm going to have to go into the begging for money, which that's going to probably start next week. because as you know, we are not being supported by YouTube nor Rumble. It's just absolutely ridiculous, the requirements, and the little the pennies. Oh, I have to laugh. The pennies that they want to give us. We need the old TV test pattern for days like this. Oh, I'll see if we can get that.
Okay, am I back?
Art, can you hear me?
Can you guys hear me now?
Because hopefully I'm not just talking to myself as usual. That
Oh,
tends
for
to
fuck's
be
sake.
what happens.
She might have to
I'll
leave
just
and
be
come
sitting here
back.
talking to myself.
Hold on.
She says yes, B. Blue Rose, do you mean me?
Mm-mm.
Because Crazy B's not here. B and D, you can hear both. I still have Crazy B offline.
Calm down there, he's gonna.
D, leave and come back. Oh, here we go. Now she's going to try to watch. She's going to place the blame all on me. No, she's
Mm-mm.
back. All right, I'm going out. I'll be
Oh,
back
no, what
again.
happened was my
Maybe.
internet
I just
decided
might
to
stay out. To
reset
hell
the
with it.
box, and now all of a sudden, I'm stuck with trying to reboot everything. But yes, it was my internet that decided to reboot the box. Okay. So when she gets back in here, I can explain my internet decided it needed to update. It's just not her. It's just her system didn't reconnect when I came back in. So, hi D, it was 100% my fault. My internet decided to update my box, and then when I came back in, it didn't sync properly with yours, so you had to leave and come back to fix what the fuck
All right, I
T-Mobile
thought
did to me.
if you were gonna tell me it was me, I was
Oh,
gonna
nope.
cut this whole podcast thing because it just
Nope.
tainted my day.
It wasn't
Okay,
you, it was my end. This
all
time
right,
it was 100% my end. I lost internet connectivity. It was rebooting the box, updating it, whatever stupid shit they do in the middle of my freaking important times. But
yeah.
it's happened to me in the middle of gaming too, and that was a fucking nightmare to reconnect
Oh my, we
because it
can't
was
make
4 platforms.
we can't make this up. You know what I mean? You just
Mm-mm.
can't. It just whatever. All right. So where are we headed? Now we're back to the press poll. All right, let's try it again.
Yes.
Death of legacy media prestige, the walls are finally crumbling. And it's moments like these that really put it into perspective. Oh, how the world of information and journalism has changed. Going from only Fox News, Politico, the New York Times, and outlets like that getting access to the press room, to now Tim Pool wearing a beanie and a hoodie, being right there
I
alongside
gotta
them.
set it
The
up.
game has completely changed, folks, and you could tell that they are terrified because they no longer control a monopoly on information. I mean, how can you control the state of information when you have Tim Pool and other people sitting right there next to you willing to cut through the garbage? It's a new day, and I really think it's a good thing. Let me show you guys this incredible moment here at the White House press room. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so actually, before we get into the Tim Pool clip, I want to start off by replaying this clip that we played the other day. Here's the New York Times whining about how the Trump administration has completely changed the press room dynamic.
This is what the White House press briefing room looked like last year, and this is what it looks like now. The difference is all these people standing off to the side. The current White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt.
Oh, so they don't like competition.
Right.
Oh,
Oh, and wait,
got it.
it's more than competition. So they say.
Well, yeah, they don't like being lied about. They don't like having the truth told.
Right.
They call it, oh, they're lying about us or they're just manipulating. Nope. They're saying exactly what needs to be
I
said. You guys don't get the
right.
control anymore.
And before it even begins, I just can't even believe that they would do this. You know, who in their right mind is advising these companies that this is a good idea to put this out? This just doesn't make any
It's
sense.
some assistant who went to college for 10 years to get a piece of paper for some degree that has zero actual use.
I'm telling you,
And yeah.
I just don't understand. I mean, if you came to me with this, I'd be like, "You're fired. You're out." This is like absurd. As
Well,
this
that's those of
continues,
us with common sense.
well, I don't know. Maybe I'm
Let's
wrong.
hit
Let's keep
I
it
was
going.
gonna say,
Maybe
let's
I'm
hit
wrong.
play, get through this, because we've only got 40 minutes left and we have a few more videos to cover.
Takes about 15 to 20 questions from journalists around the room. Most of these questions come from journalists in assigned seats. And these are legacy media organizations like CNN, Reuters, the New York Times, and CBS News. But on average, she takes about a quarter of her questions every briefing from people standing on the sidelines. What the Trump administration...
Oh no, a quarter of the questions.
Yeah, and the
One
majority.
out of every
Oh,
4.
right. Majority coming from the mainstream lying media. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's continue. I just got to keep breaking it up because I didn't edit the video.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
That's okay.
administration calls new media. This is a wide-ranging group of people. Some are from newer, nonpartisan media groups, some are from more established right-wing outlets, and some are right-wing YouTubers. A lot of them frame their questions in favorable terms toward the administration or echo right-wing talking points.
Will you guys also...
Oh, so like what they did with Biden.
I never heard them ever say we have left-wing media in the press room.
They are left-wing.
I know,
Very
but
much.
I'm just saying, I never heard it said out loud.
No, you're never going to. And it's favorably worded for the right way. What about all that nonsense about Joe Biden? What's your favorite ice cream?
Right.
No hard questions. Someone asks a hard question, call it off. Kick them out of the room.
This is just so ludicrous.
I wasn't particularly impressed by Tim Pool's question. It was more like red meat for the Trump supporters, which isn't the purpose of the White House press conference. I had said something similar when I first saw it, but
we'll talk about that as soon as we're done. We'll talk about
when we get to there. It doesn't mean lefties didn't do the same thing. Exactly. And I have my own issues with Tim Pool that go beyond just him being there and dressed like a bum with a beanie and a hoodie.
All right.
Let's go.
After the fact, Crazy Bee.
Okay. Here
also
we go.
consider releasing the president's fitness plan? He actually looks healthier than ever before.
I want to talk more about the success that ICE is having.
You mentioned not one Democrat senator voted to protect women's sports.
It's easy to look at this and say, why does it matter who's sitting where in this room? But this is an opportunity for journalists to question the administration directly on the news events of the day and certain actions and policies. The Trump administration has cited a more fractured media environment as the reason for making all these changes in the press briefing room. But reporters who cover the White House say that all of this has undercut the value of the press briefing room as a space to get real answers to hard-hitting questions and hold the Trump administration accountable.
Yeah, you could just sense the panic in that video. She attempts to make this argument as if she's upset or concerned because journalists aren't asking the tough questions. The White House brought in a bunch of right-wing sycophants that aren't doing the job right. That's what she's attempting to say, but you could read right through it. What she's really saying, what she's really afraid of, is that the new media voices that are now allowed in the room are showing up and asking the right questions, the ones that cut through their narrative BS and put the administration in a position to cut through the bogus narratives and actually present the truth. And I really wanted to play that clip first because essentially what they're scared of, what they're attempting to gatekeep and force out of the White House press briefing room, is Tim Pool. Take a look at this.
Tim, why don't you kick us off today?
Yes, many of the news organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland Man hoax, where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by 2 different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland man over and over again. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on, following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you could comment on the unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
Sure.
Well, we certainly welcome diverse viewpoints in this room, which is one of the reasons we have you in here, and there's many new faces in this room in comparison to the previous administrations. We want to welcome all viewpoints into this room. We welcome unbiased journalists who really care about the truth and the facts and the accuracy, and you rightfully pointed out the Maryland man story, which I, from this podium, when The Atlantic published it, on that very first day, I came to this podium and said, this is wrong. The press in this room have this story wrong, and we have seen more and more evidence come to the table that we have had all along. We were always right. The president was always on the right side of this issue to deport this illegal criminal from our community. And it is despicable to see the media continue to refer to this individual as someone who is just a peaceful man living his life in Maryland. This was and always has been an illegal criminal, an MS-13 gang member, and a designated foreign terrorist. And the administration maintains our position to deport these individuals from our community. So thank you for being here, Tim.
Oh boy. Tim Pool comes out swinging, taking his first moment in the White House press room to absolutely excoriate these corporate media shills. And he hit them right to the frickin' core. And that moment right there speaks exactly to the issue or to the concept that I was referring to. The legacy media isn't mad that Trump's press office is now dodging questions. They're mad that they've completely changed the landscape. They're mad that they can no longer be the only ones in the room. They no longer control the gate. In other words, these people aren't worried about bad questions, they're threatened by good ones. They spent years lying about Donald Trump. Let's go with the first hoax he mentioned, the Very Fine People hoax. They ran with that garbage for nearly a decade. I mean, from 2016, or maybe I think it happened in 2017 if I'm not mistaken, all the way through 2024. In fact, Joe Biden was still repeating that line without any pushback from the mainstream media all the way to the end of the 2024 election.
When the president was asked what he thought had happened, Donald Trump said, and I quote, "There are very fine people on both sides. My God." That's what he said. That is what he said and what he meant.
Smear after smear after smear. You know, that's their legacy. And now they want to act all superior, all mighty, and outraged because people like Tim Pool are participating in journalism? Just subconsciously, that Elon Musk clip immediately came to mind.
Go yourself.
Give me a break, you mainstream media shills. Don't have a monopoly on good questions or good information. In fact, I'd argue it's quite the opposite. You people are prisoners of your own echo chamber, of your own corrupt ideological vacuums. And actually, let's continue to feed off some of the content Tim Pool's been providing, because I think this clip that's really going viral all over social media really hits to the issue as well. Here's proof of exactly what I mean being an intellectual prisoner of the mainstream echo chamber. On one of Tim Pool's recent podcasts, he had a guest named Tara Palmieri, and I know some people might be saying, well, she's not a mainstream journalist. She's an independent investigative journalist. She posts on Substack, which sure, she does today, because she likely saw the writing on the wall and also understands that the independent route, if you're successful, can be much more lucrative than working as a pawn for one of these major corporations. But this notion that Tara Palmieri is an independent source is complete nonsense. Just take a look at her LinkedIn. She spent nearly a decade bouncing through all the typical names, the usual suspects from CNN to Politico, and so I'd argue she is the perfect example of the mainstream media ideological vacuum, and this clip says it all.
It's not about you guys. It's not about you, and it's not about you being in there. It's about the idea, I think, that the administration gets to pick the pool. And when you hand over the keys to the administration, that's the problem.
But so the issue we have is, let's start with the Very Fine People hoax. Are you familiar with that?
What do you mean?
Every major news outlet reported that Trump called neo-Nazis very fine people, which he did not.
He said there were good people on both sides.
He said, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis or the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally.
Is that the full quote?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
You didn't know that.
She still, to this freaking day, doesn't know about the Very Fine People hoax. She doesn't know the full context behind that quote. That is completely insane, but it's kind of par for the course. It's not a one-off. These are the so-called journalists that want to gatekeep the truth, that believe only they can conduct good journalism. Yet they don't even know the basics. They're not reporters. They're activists with a title, with a press pass. And now clearly they're panicking because they can't stomach the fact that independent media is now on their level, or let's be completely real, above it. Little guy.
And again, I just want to chime this in because it's been a few minutes since I bothered interrupting it. I wouldn't exactly call Tim Pool a talented independent journalist.
Well,
by any means.
Yeah. I don't particularly care for him myself, but others do, Crazy B. I mean, he has
I get it,
how many
and this
followers,
is
and so there are people that don't like liberal hive mind. So
I know,
the
I just
the
don't like him for so many bad
I
takes.
understand that. So
Common
the thing,
sense level.
right? So they created a seat. They do have, as you mentioned, the 25 or so people. 25% of the staff people are in the back that are independent, but they also have a chair up front where they usually get to ask the first question of the day, and they are from a podcast, a independent news outlet. Now, the fact that Tim Pool pulls up,
Hey, skunk.
uh,
Sorry.
hello, he he reminded me. As soon as I saw him there, I was like, oh my gosh, Zelensky 2.0 doesn't know how to dress.
Unprofessional beyond all
Totally
belief.
unprofessional. He could have done better. Get that beanie off your head. And then right out of the gate, what's he going to do? He's going to be accusatory against the press when he had an opportunity to ask many other better questions. I
Yeah.
mean, that may have been the intent to antagonize, to which it obviously did. Uh, so I don't know why he did what he did. I didn't watch anything about it after the fact. I didn't read anything about it after the fact. So I'm assuming he had to go with intent on that to ask that type of question. I mean,
Huh.
he right out of the gate, I mean, I gasped when I heard his first couple
Well,
words
but,
come out.
we do need, some calling out of the left
Yeah,
media,
but
I
there's a
I
way
I
to do
agree
it.
we need to call it out, but he did it in the most unprofessional,
Exactly. Exactly.
like, seriously, I do better. I'm not perfect. I am by far not a professional, but I can still put on a show as if I'm semi-professional.
I could I could think of many ways we could have reframed that question. Uh, just his look alone was like,
Condescending douchebag.
exactly, extremely condescending. The dress was Zelensky 2.0.
Yep.
By the way,
I know.
Zelensky couldn't even wear a suit to the Pope's funeral.
Oh, you're kidding. He didn't Oh, that's right, he didn't.
Yeah, he did not. No,
That's right.
at
He
least he didn't
didn't.
wear. He didn't wear. He probably had his T-shirt on under the jacket he had on, but still. I mean, there's just, I don't know. It was, you have this great opportunity to represent yourself, and you go and you look like a slob and you act like a slob. If anything, to me, he was a huge turnoff. I thought he missed a great opportunity because,
Yeah.
you know, Caroline didn't answer the other part of his question, the second part. And
Mhm.
it makes me think that he might not ever be asked back again just for
I
his
do think
behavior.
that might be the
Yeah.
case.
And that's what people need to think of when they do this type of stuff or when they're invited to places, that if you have an opportunity that is way above a level that you've ever experienced, and in this case, you know, how often is he ever been in the press room, right? If you don't put
Mhm.
your best foot forward, you will not be invited back. And
Like Skunk said, Tim Pool was there solely for Tim Pool.
yes, I believe that.
I can see that being the
But
case
and
too.
and I don't even think that was a good show though for Tim Pool. I think he looked. It was just a moment for me.
The
He was
people
just
who just don't get dress code but complain about others violating it just kills me. Oh yeah, he did have a fit about Zelensky, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
He did have a
Did
minor
he?
fit about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, that's funny. That
Oh,
makes it even the worse. That makes it worse.
yeah. But
And
this like I we covered Tim Pool's terrible take on that Carmelo Anthony, and Austin Metcalf
yes, Yeah.
situation.
Right.
I I can agree and disagree with people and still be civil towards him. Yeah,
Right.
he's an idiot for that point, but to this whole press briefing thing just threw my respect level down a whole
Right.
lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was me, I would have gone in a pantsuit or something presentable, even if it's a nice pair of jeans or a pair of leggings with a really nice top,
Right.
something decent. You don't go in a hoodie and a beanie. What the fudge?
So you wouldn't have wore a bandana or anything like that then? Is that what you're
Maybe a decorative scarf,
There you go.
like
Oh,
one of the
no.
babushka
Then
style ones, what they well, babushka literally means
if
grandma,
you
but just
right,
the style decorative ones.
if you did that, then I'd have to call you Deborah Burke, so don't do that, please.
Oh yeah, Skunk says, "I don't care about his beanie, but the fact Tim did a whole episode on Zelensky's dress." Yeah, I thought he did. I swear he had a meltdown about it, a mini meltdown. Um, yeah, a
I
missed
don't know,
opportunity.
does anybody know, is he bald? Does he have, like, little hairs that he's embarrassed of? I mean, I've never seen him without his beanie, so I have no clue what's underneath. Does he have a big, you know, scar underneath there? Does he have a MS-13 tattoo on there that we don't know about? You
I
know,
don't know. I don't think I've ever seen him without a beanie.
me
And
neither.
Art brings a good point. I make a suit look good, but I don't really like wearing one. I hate wearing dresses, but if it came down to it, you bet I would.
Mhm.
I'd probably throw a pair of shorts underneath
Mhm.
or leggings, if depending on the length of the dress, because I just don't like the uncomfortableness. For me, I like the constriction of pants. It's a part of my autism thing. I've never liked dresses. Since I was a child, I've hated dresses. But that doesn't mean I can't dress appropriately somehow. It's
Yeah,
like,
it'd be,
even for my wedding, I wore a dress, but I wore a frickin' pair of shorts under it.
Mhm. Well, it's all on appropriateness. And,
Yeah.
things do change as, the ages go on, but there are still just some things that need to be held in high regard. And going to the White House, I think, is one of them.
Oh, wait. That's Tim Pool without a hat? Holy fuck, no wonder why he wears the hat.
Where? I don't see
Uh,
any.
no, I'm gonna pull it up. Give me a second. If this is accurate, and these aren't just some AI bullshit, then yeah.
You know what do you got shit and you're not sharing it with me. Let's
I
go,
know,
girl.
give me a second. I'm trying to find a decent one that I can pull up that actually looks real. There we are.
Okay.
Nope, that's not real. You can tell. Some of these look like they have him in places he shouldn't be. Um, so give me a second. It just doesn't look realistic.
I see.
Um, there it is. Found one. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Oh my god, I do apologize. Um, let me hold on. Let me come back here so I can share
She's
this.
withholding on with her co-host people, just so you know.
I'm desperately trying to get this together. It takes me a minute to find it.
I
Give
see.
me a second, folks. Give
A
me a
second
second.
a
There
second
we
is
go.
okay.
Oh shit. Nope. This.
Nope, you don't like that one?
Hold on. No, I got to
Alright.
minimize that one. There we go. There. That is what Tim Pool looks like without his hat.
Well, he ain't that bad. He could have been that ain't that bad. I've seen worse.
I can see why he chooses to wear the hat.
It ain't that bad. Wear a suit and you would have looked halfway decent. Or there's
Yeah,
some things
and
you
now
don't
I'm
want.
finally seeing the chat.
Uh,
And he's like, there are some things you don't want to see. And again, I've known a lot of people who've had early receding hairlines. How Patrick Stewart was bald, practically bald by 19,
yeah,
and he is one of the most famous bald actors out there.
right.
My son and I actually did some research into it because he's like, was he always bald? And so we did a research into Patrick Stewart about why he's bald. Um,
You know what's
So
fun? You know what's funny is without his beanie, he doesn't look like Tim Pool.
yeah, because you're so used to seeing it. And
Right.
honestly, if you want to talk about shallow about that, I don't show my face because I've had stalkers and I have family that absolutely is out to destroy me. But I don't look great on camera. Shit, I do not look. My character that you see here is 10 times better looking than my face without makeup even with makeup, I'm not the best looking person. So, but I can at least acknowledge it and save
You
you guys
know,
from going
let's
blind.
not start that shit. All right, that's not true.
I see it that way, and that's what I was told most of my life. So I live with the facts.
Yeah, well, your facts are wrong, and what you see is not the truth.
No,
So,
it's not. So everyone I went to school with, everyone in my family, everyone who's
well,
pretty much known
sometimes
me my
it
whole
takes a
life.
while to mature into yourself.
I would rather trust drunks and children because they don't use
Oh, then
filters.
trust me. Okay, I see where we're going. I see where this friendship's headed.
I
Mm-hmm.
I trust drunks and children because they have no filters. They're most likely to be
Well,
honest.
then you know what? We'll get Jake on the line next time, and I'll say, is she ugly or not? All right? Is that what you want?
You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna be like, I gotta please grandma so I don't get
Right.
yelled at for
Yep.
being mean. But if you want an honest, you're gonna torment that poor kid like that?
Yeah, I would. We'd get the truth
No,
from him.
don't torment him like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Kids are torn at that age. And I
No.
agree with Skunk. He should go full bald. He would be better
Yeah.
off being full bald.
Yeah.
Yes.
He really
But we
doesn't
need
look.
to go back to that video.
Okay, go ahead. we're
There's still
we're
like a
way
minute
off
left of
base.
it.
We're way off base.
Yes, we are. Um, Let me minimize that. But yes, let's finish off this last minute. Well, last 30 something seconds.
Guys like me are doing better work and getting more views than these billion-dollar corporations. That's just the new name of the game. And clearly they're panicking. So folks, I guess this is what happens when real independent, honest journalism finally gets a seat at the table. Times are changing, independent voices are rising, and the media's cartel monopoly on information is coming to a crashing end. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right.
Oh,
I'm just looking at the chat, and we got Joe Rogan is a sexy bald guy. Then we
I
have
can't argue that.
okay. Then we got Art with he went thin in his mid-40s. Now this I'm concerned with. He had his first industrial shaving accident by his mid-40s, and he's been bald ever since. What is a industrial shaving accident? Did you try to do something
Um,
yourself,
I
or
can think of a few things that could lead to an industrial accident. Too much carb cleaner trying to force start a engine. Too much and you get the flame thrower hair removal, or did your hair get caught in a fan belt?
that's not nice? Come on.
No, those are the only ones I can really think about, given he said what I know about him.
Okay.
With the race car engineer part of it, I can think of it like that way. And I've had, I was trying to light my sister's furnace and didn't realize there was a small crack in it and the gas was leaking out, and I got a flamethrower at my face and I lost some eyebrows.
Oh, there you
Um, oh, when you shave while drunk and wake up with no hair.
Oh,
Okay,
that's not good.
that makes sense too.
Right, right. Okay, what do we got up next?
I gotta take a quick sip.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry there.
sorry. No, it's okay, but I could think of a few ways that there could be an industrial accident that leads to hair loss. I mean, I've seen jackasses with sanders that got away from them and took off half their beards on the side of their face, just got shaved with a sander.
Oh
Oh
my.
yeah. No, you just when I say literally, I have seen some shit. I am not joking. I have seen all kinds of industrial accidents. Again, remember, I worked in medicine. I've had patients. Patient that lost half of a finger due to chopping wood with her brother when she was 6 years old in the 1920s. I mean, so yeah.
Wow.
Let's do the body language expert. How long
Okay.
is that video? It's only 15 minutes. I think we have enough time.
And you can actually scroll past, I think, a couple things if you want.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, so we might just run a
Okay.
few minutes late.
Okay.
So,
No, I do
and that
there are several body language experts that I watch. I tend to like this
Oh,
one.
I've watched him before. I've
Yes,
watched this guy.
I tend to like him a little bit better because his commentary is always entertaining. He just adds a little spice to the presentation, where some of the other ones are a little bit more dry. Uh, if you don't like them, well, I'm not giving you anybody else right now. You can search for them on your own. But there are many
No,
videos
and if
out
I
there.
remember correctly, this guy leaves his political opinions out of this, if I remember
He
correctly.
usually does, but he is in support of Trump and of, he doesn't
Oh,
like illegal immigration. He's not a Trumpster, but you will hear him every once in a while make a statement in support of Trump. Prior to that, he really wasn't even that negative on Biden. He usually just does his job, but just his commentary I find amusing. That's
yeah.
me. But again, you can do searches on body language experts on just about anything from maybe your favorite musician all the way through, the Pope to, a politician, anybody in between, and you'll find information on YouTube about it. So if you don't
Yeah.
like this one, then go ahead.
All right. Well, let's hit play, get through this, and go from there.
All right.
So we need to talk about the body language of Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky on that meeting they had before the funeral of Pope Francis. And,
I do want to point out, and this is just me, I think this was very much in bad taste for them to have the meeting in the
I agree.
Vatican at the
Mm-hmm.
funeral. I
Right.
think that was all in poor taste on both sides.
And especially also, like, look at that whole scene. Just take that scene in. Both of them, to me, look insignificant for the topic that they're talking about. Um, uh,
I got to answer this question. What is my accent? It's born in Michigan, transplanted to Kentucky a few years ago when I still well, I've lived here before. So I'm a half northern, half southern accent. That's what my accent is. Sorry. But
you're
yeah,
good.
this was absolutely in poor
In poor
taste.
taste. And they couldn't find a little room, a little enclave to go to. I just
No, they
find
shouldn't
it
have done this at all.
right.
Long before, or after.
Well, I could have
Not
seen
just
no.
minutes.
Yeah, not I could see it being done because they had all the players that were necessary to be there. So I could see
That's so
but
disrespectful.
whatever. He
I
was
mean,
dead.
would you have a
He
business
was dead.
conversation or something like that at your
Yeah,
aunt's
he
funeral
was
or your
dead.
uncle's
He's
funeral?
dead. Yeah, he's dead already. Come on.
Yeah, but to the people who are still alive, it's disrespectful to them.
Ugh, get over it. He was dead. He move it over into a little room. Nobody had to know what was going on. You know what I mean?
They
That's
made
what
it
they
public for a reason, and
exactly.
it's
They
disrespectful.
It was for show, exactly. And I'm saying all they had to do was, you see that door over there? Is that a door? Why didn't they go in there? Whatever was behind that door. The cloak closet. That's probably what that was. Cloak. Get it? Cloak.
A
They
quote
could have went in
closet.
there. Yeah, they could have
That's
went
what
in.
there was. That's in a lot of countries. It's still called a quote closet.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
It really wasn't the place to have a meeting about a war, but Trump has never been that classy. Not sure about Zelensky isn't either.
You know what? Don't blame that it was Trump wanting to have the
I
meeting.
say both sides were in poor
Yeah,
taste
and
with
maybe
this.
little Zelensky plus somebody else is involved here. So,
Well,
and
no, they
maybe,
said that it was Keir Stammer and that dude from France that pushed
yeah,
the meeting.
Trudeau, not Trudeau,
Not Trudeau,
not
Macron.
Trudeau. What's his little face?
Macron.
Macron, Trudeau, Macron. They all look alike. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry, I'm being what, racist? No, I'm not. Anyway, did I say that?
Anyways, we're supposed to be hitting play. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, hit it.
Yeah, let's quit critiquing their.
Well, you stopped
their.
it, not me. I don't have.
I know. I'm shutting myself up.
Okay,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. I just. Ugh.
I know.
We just sat there and tore apart Tim Pool for this.
Right.
So here we go. Okay, I'm gonna behave. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
The
Like that.
pictures
Right.
speak for themselves. But before we talk about those pictures and the gestures that they were having and their postures, of course, because there is a lot to talk about that, we need to address that first moment or moments before that meeting in which they were approaching the chairs to sit down, and Zelensky was expecting Emmanuel Macron, president of France, to sit down with them. He wanted like a sidekick, somebody to help him sort things out with Donald Trump. You remember that the last time Zelensky and Trump met was at the Oval Office. I did a body language analysis of that. And you remember that it didn't go as well as many expected, Zelensky included. But this time, Zelensky was expecting Macron to join them. But this happened. Let's analyze this play by play. This is a really quick video in which many things happen one after the other. And the first one, the very first frame, we see that Zelensky is looking at Trump and he's got an expression. He has the raising his eyebrows and this connection he's trying to do with Trump. Okay, I'm willing to sit down. That is a goodwill gesture. Remember, in this case, you raising your eyebrows. He's gonna do that to Macron in a minute. But he looked eager to talk to him. Trump was not looking very energetic at the moment. It's usually Trump has his chin a bit higher up. All right, in this case,
well, he's also looking at someone who's a hell of a lot shorter than him, and he would probably just got off of a long ass flight. I don't blame him for being tired. Just gonna point that out.
Let's say he was not that energetic as usual. They were walking in almost perfect sync. Trump does this gesture to his left. He points here with his finger. I don't know what that meant. I don't know what they were saying at that moment, but I just made sure to point it out, just in case if we find out the meaning. And from other angle, if we have other video from other angle, there's all the videos and all the photos you're gonna find is in this analysis.
Hold on.
You girls sound like sisters. I'm cracking up.
And
believe it or not, we're not related.
We're not related at all. I'm old enough to be her mother, and maybe I've never pulled the mother card, but when I'm done, I just might and beat her ass. So, yeah, yeah, right.
Okay,
I'm from
back
the north.
to play.
Yeah, I'm from the north, Skunk. She's from the south.
Actually, no, I was born and raised in Michigan. I currently live in the south.
Well, right now, okay? I live in the north, you live in the south, okay? You got that? I'm in the north, you're in the south. Somehow, and you've been there for how long since I've known you? How long is it?
I've been down here since 2021.
Correct.
Middle of 2021.
So, and I've known you for almost 2 years. So somehow, Skunk, we came together to be friends. How that ever happened, I'm questioning it right now in my head. But, hit play, Crazy Bee.
It's fun. It's all fun. Yep.
I love her. She's lucky.
But anyway, he points to his left. I see just a tad of a smirk here.
He probably was saying, let's go into that little room over there.
Yeah. That might have been where he was pointing.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Okay. It's just a bit of contempt in there. Just a bit of contempt.
Well, geez, he got his ass chewed
I don't know
last time.
what Trump could have said at that moment, or what was he thinking that triggered it. We have to be careful when the quality of the video is so let's say, so low quality. And you can see, this is important. This is important. You can see that there were 3 chairs. They were heading for 3 chairs. You can see that there are like 2 in front of each other, and the other is like in the middle. They were heading for that. So it was confirmed that Emmanuel Macron was going to join them, and you can see that Macron was right behind them, because you see that Zelensky is looking at Trump right there. He's looking at him. Okay? You see that his eyes are establishing eye contact, and there's no reaction when Macron is approaching, but Zelensky already reaches out behind. You see that he's reaching out behind with his hand, because he's going to greet Macron, who is entering the picture. And you see that Zelensky has a nice facial expression. He is delighted of seeing Macron here. I don't know if Trump expected that at that moment, but I'm going to tell you something right in a minute.
It almost looks like Trump got ambushed.
Already knew what was coming, because just in case, notice that this guy, I need to do this like simultaneously. 2 things are happening at the same time as they are turning back to greet Macron. This guy was already moving the chairs, and especially getting rid of one of the chairs. It's like Trump already knew what was going on, what was about to happen, and he pre-ordered for the 3rd chair to be removed, because there's no way Trump is not talking to the guy to move the chairs. Zelensky is greeting Macron with that, that like sort of hand like, to the chest, that kind of greeting that is much more informal.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said that's that. What's up, bro? Handshake. That's
what
that was. Yeah, huh?
Formal than just a handshake. He's got his hand on Macron's back. Okay, Macron is leaning into Zelensky. This is the thing that I found it interesting. You remember that usually when we see, for example, we have seen Macron with Justin Trudeau, for example, they are so close to each other, and when Macron has been with Zelensky, they are so close to each other. But this time, Macron decided to be just a couple steps away and lean into Zelensky. He didn't get too close. That is interesting. That was interesting to point out. And Zelensky does a little bow with his head, bowing like a Japanese. All right. A nice deference. And then Macron points at the chairs. Well, the chairs, the chair's still there. The 3rd chairs are still there. Not for long. All right. Because Trump had other plans. And yes, you see that Zelensky nods like, yeah, you're coming. And he does this gesture with his left hand. See? It's like, yeah. You see right here. See his hand? Yeah. Come with us. I need help. I don't want to be I don't want to be yelled at again. But Trump does this. Trump does a very open and receptive gesture to both men, in which you see, notice that Zelensky has a very confident facial expression at this moment. Very nice. He is expecting this to go smooth according to plan. And the moment that Macron is trying to do something like touch Trump's hand, is like, no, it's like, we are not going to do you. I'm going to talk to this little man here. Okay, you see the other guy is still playing with the chairs. I'm going to talk to this little man, and will not get into this. We don't know exactly what Trump said. I noticed that Zelensky began to see in the direction of the chairs. They're taking the 3rd chair. They're taking away the 3rd chair. The 3rd chair is gone. Macron has to be with us. I don't want to be. And you see Zelensky's facial expression changed. Like it's terror now. Oh my God, I'm face to face with Trump alone. Yeah, it's you can see it for yourself.
Yep, you're gonna face him alone.
It's like that change
Dude,
from
you're okay.
confidence, like
Yeah, man.
3 seconds ago, to this. You can, oh no, please, no. But yes, that is gonna be your fate. And he nods, as in, well, Trump already decided, and Zelensky had no say on this. So they were face to face. We're in this complete face-to-face posture. I'm going to talk about the legs in a while when we see the pictures. We just have a very quick video.
They could have put them a little bit further back from each other. Having them that close makes it look very confrontational.
There's a there's in psych classes, there's an exercise that you do where you're almost touching knees, and that is to incite, I don't want to say intimidation, but it gets the fear, and ultimately at the end of the exercise you're to be more comfortable with that person. I'll have to dig that up. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but Art had made a comment, and Art, we agreed with you. Crazy B and I agreed with everything that you had to say.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, about the chairs were deliberate, and that we didn't think it was a good idea that that the meeting be had. But I could see why they probably did it, because the leaders were there at that particular time. And would you have gotten them together, at any other time? I don't know. Okay.
Yep. Let's hit play.
Yeah, I don't know why didn't they shoot a bit more video of this. I think this. Oh my God, this is. I think this is Keir Starmer. This is Keir Starmer. That was pretty sure that this is Keir Starmer. That was walking up to them. Let me see if I can convince Trump. No, you will not convince him of anything. They already had gotten rid of the third chair, and they were talking. And in this very short clip of they talking, we could see that Trump was very attentive, and there were mixed signals from Zelensky. Sometimes he was shaking his head, sometimes he was nodding, shaking his head, nodding, shaking his head again. His hands were not moving that much. And then we have the pictures. In the pictures, this is one of the most, I would say, spectacular pictures. I think this iconic pictures. We could spend like days describing all that is around them, and especially the symbolism. There's something that the Vatican has said. This is really symbolic. There's only the setting, and of course the way they were speaking. There's something that I saw that Trump does only sometimes. You know that usually Trump plants his feet on the floor, like it planted flat on the ground. In this case, he had his legs and his feet a bit backwards. Okay, had a bit of resistance. Had like keeping his cards close to his chest. Zelensky was with his feet planted flat on the ground. Again, it might be the posture of Trump that he was leaning into Zelensky maybe to listen to him better. And so Zelensky didn't have to speak very loud, and nobody could hear what they were saying. And Zelensky's hands on a symmetric gesture and speaking directly. I think that he was speaking to Trump in this case. I think that he was the one speaking, and in other angle. By the way, we have this confirmation that yes, Keir Starmer wanted to get into the action. Macron was still touching Zelensky, but you see that Trump had that attitude. No, we are doing this. I'm doing this alone, and they had already gotten rid of the third chair. So I'm pretty sure Trump knew in advance of their plans, and he in advance told everybody, no, get rid of the chair. This is what I'm telling you about their body language, in which this is, I wouldn't say unusual for Trump, but it's not his usual, feet planted on the ground. He had a bit of resistance in there, even if he was looking at Zelensky, straight at Zelensky all the time, without, very attentive in every single picture. These are all the pictures that we had. We had the exact same posture. We see the third chair was so long. You don't belong here. And I hope that this encounter signals peace. It's think that Zelensky wanted to maybe fix the things that happened at the Oval Office back then, that he wanted that guarantee of protection from the United States, and it didn't go well in any way. And
No shit.
I would say that their body language was a good mirror. You can tell from the mirroring of two people talking to each other how much they mirror each other, how much they are in sync to each other. I think that they could reach to something nice after these talks. Who knows? Maybe in the next 24 hours we will find out. I certainly hope so. Again, there's a very low resolution picture, but still we see that Zelensky was using very, very small gestures, some gestures, but Trump was just listening. All this time. So I certainly hope that there's signals peace for Ukraine, that they get to an agreement. That Russia was sending some attacks a couple days ago. It was attacking Kiev heavily, and Trump was telling Putin that it seems like you don't want peace. I certainly hope that this comes to a ceasefire as soon as possible and complete peace as soon as possible. And just as an addendum, that people were a bit triggered by the fact that Trump was wearing blue to the funeral of Pope Francis, but I don't know. Even if his suit was very blue, I can see a lot of actual blue suits. You see Trump is right here, but I see a lot of gentlemen with blue. I think Prince William was wearing blue, by the way. Some would argue that it was a different shade of blue, but again, it's one thing that we need to remember. It's always going to be. This is not going to change. Trump is always going to find a way to pop up. It's like stand out. Stand out is the word. But again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and don't forget to download my 100 free body language tips in the description of this video.
Okay.
Now,
So,
one of the reasons why I wanted to have this video shown is oftentimes we think we see things, and just keep in mind what you're viewing. Is it actually what you're the interpretations or what your visual cues are they correct?
Yeah.
With my HR background and the psych stuff that I've been through, psych minor and psychology and all that, this is stuff that I tend to look for in people. Obviously, some of the real cues are, if you see somebody sitting there with legs crossed and arms crossed, they're not receptive or open to anything that you have to say. So there's he has 150 ways you can download his video, his paper, and he'll tell you different things to take a look at. But it's just another way to pay attention to. If you're curious as to what's going on with politicians, he's not the only one. There's a group of 4 of them that they take turns analyzing what's going on. Uh, and you get a feel for then who it is you're really dealing with. You get to learn, oh, this is the signature move that he makes all the time. He always does, X blinks his eye 3 times before he looks at you, something like that. So just pay
Yeah.
attention to that kind of stuff because it's not always about, a certain segment that the news shows you or a particular photo. Go out and take a little deeper dive into something that, you might not be sure of. So,
And that's
yes,
definitely worth
yes, Artie is. And
oh,
as the,
hold on,
yeah,
I missed
Art,
the
so
comment.
go ahead. Yeah, pull up what Art has to say about Trump. Trump is, in caps, always going to make himself the center of attention, but he wants to control how that goes. Others may manipulate him so he gets himself into bad situations too. I don't disagree with that, and I think his first term showed that. And as to being the center of attention, a lot of times they will tell you that leaders, CEOs of companies, you take an Elon Musk, a Jeff Bezos, take Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, I don't even, I'd have to pull lists of names. And, my former bosses, the CEOs, they want to be the center of attention. They're the boss applesauce. You know what I mean? And you're going to, one way or another, they're going to stand out in a certain way and they're going to command respect in a certain way. Uh, if not, then you could be possibly out of a job. But Trump wants to be seen on center stage, and he's trying to demonstrate, I think, that the U.S. is back. The U.S. is the powerhouse, and he's dragging all of us along with him behind his blue suit.
Yeah.
Believe that or not. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. I never felt that, uh, with Obama, despite he was a good orator. I mean, he could make you believe in anything almost, with his speeches and command his presence, have a commanding presence. At the end, I would say there was more, probably, people were catching on to things from him. Clinton was, good until Monica Lewinsky happened and all of that crap.
Yep.
Hillary and Kamala, well, we won't even talk about them. But Biden, he always seemed to be angry about something. I've never really felt like we've had somebody that was truly behind the American people. I really haven't.
Mhm.
I truly haven't felt that way. I hope that this is true. All is true. That this that we haven't been hoodwinked or the wool pulled over our eyes or whatever you want to call it. I truly hope that this country can get back to the golden age as he describes it. Manufacturing can come back. As Crazy B said, we have this trading between countries that, we're not fighting against one another but cooperating with one another. Because
Mhm.
there's no reason not to, because as she said, I don't think we're going to find other planets in our lifetime to swap goods with. Um,
And before we go, I do got one more thing to share.
okay.
Um, right here.
Oh, oh, oh my God! Thank you. Oh my God! I'm so honored.
I
Oh,
gotta send this to you so
oh
you
my
can print
God!
it
Thank you
off.
so much. Oh my gosh! I am so honored. Thank you so much.
I had to do it. I had to. I'd been
Oh,
working
I
on it,
love you. That
made it
made
look
my
really
day.
nice.
That made
I'm
my
glad it made your
day.
day because
You
I said I
made
was
my
going to
day.
print
You
you
have
off
no
a
idea.
certification of completion diploma thing. And now it's in your Discord, so you can also
Thank you,
do that
dear.
too.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. I hope I don't have to get another one of these. It's been rough. Thank you so much, Crazy Bee.
I
I
figured I'd
appreciate
make your
it.
day with that one.
You made my day. That brought a big smile to my face, I'll tell you. And anybody that doesn't know, it's been hell for us to try to pull off. Uh, economic week turned into economic 2 weeks to economic 2 weeks in a day.
Actually, it ended up being like 3 weeks total.
Really? That long? Man.
Yeah,
I don't even
part 8.
remember.
8 parts minusing Sundays. So
Yeah.
Monday, Thursday, Friday.
Right.
8 parts, 2 hours per part.
And we
Yeah.
carried, and for coming right out of the gate, we pulled the numbers that we pulled. That says a lot. That shows that
Yeah.
there's interest. I mean, for two for two people that have no clue what's going on, uh, the little bit of knowledge that we do have, that we try to present, and
And
again,
we expand on. We're
correct,
learning as we go too. That's
right,
the other thing.
right. It's just not, oh, here it is. We're giving you the current news, what the hot topic is, off the press. If it's urgent or important, of course you're going to get it. But for the most part, we're trying to do these deeper dives. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Oh, do we have time? Could we go a little longer?
It's up to you.
There's a little seed hickey, or do you want to
Yeah,
save that?
I have that still pulled up in the evented, at least the X post, or I
Okay,
could play the video separate from the post.
let's just do the X post. I forgot all about that. This this little piece this is what I'm talking about. This came from Blue Rose, who sent it, who I sent it to Crazy Bee. We were like, what's true and what isn't true about this? And we started a deep dive that has taken us into probably at least a day or two of warranted, at least probably a day of us discussing it. Um, can you blow that up any further there, Crazy Blue?
I
Crazy
can
Blue. Crazy Bee.
try.
Crazy Blue. I'm crazy. I'm just so happy about my
Oh,
certificate.
there we go. It's
Can
just
I?
gonna take a bit of scrolling.
So when I go for my next job and they call to confirm whether I got that certificate, you'll say that it was approved by you?
Yep, it was
Okay,
approved by
thank you.
me.
Okay, so from the Wall Street apes comes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, with the Rockefeller family, paid for the Doomsday Seed Vault in Norway. There was a seed vault in Iraq. It disappeared after the U.S. bombed Iraq. Get this, after that happened, the farmers had to depend on, get this, USAID to get seed. What are the odds? The question was about why the Gates Foundation and the Rockefeller Foundation, Syngenta, which is one of the largest GMO, that's genetic modified, what's the O?
Organisms.
I thought so. Corporations, a British Swiss company, why they financed the creation of a nuclear-proof seed vault to store all the seed varieties of the entire planet up near the Arctic Circle, inaccessible by Greenpeace boats or almost anything. What's going on with that? What interest do they have? Well, the
Well, I can
BB.
think of a few, but
Mhm.
I'll let you go.
You can say that. Let me finish, and then you can give
Yep.
your thing there. Well, the BBC, when they did a story on it years ago, called it the Doomsday Seed Vault. It sure is a scary thing to me. Are they planning to do something to the seed varieties of the entire planet and then be the ones who control what comes out and in what forms it's genetically manipulated or not? I don't know. One of the first things to happen when the U.S. bombed Saddam Hussein's Iraq back to the Stone Age in February of 2003, Iraq is the cradle of the civilized agriculture, the Tigris Euphrates Valley, Mesopotamia, and there was a seed bank of wheat varieties in a place in Iraq called Abu Ghraib.
Garib.
Say that again.
Graib.
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 Graib. Well, during the course of the U.S. bombing of Iraq, that seed bank in Abu whatever disappeared. Nobody could say where it went. The farmers had to depend on the USAID to get seed. Now we'll
I know
stop
it says
there.
show more, but there is no show more.
Yeah. Now, one thing was, I could not right now get a hit on whether that was true about the farmers. But let's start at the top where
Oh, let me reshare it.
okay, where Bill and Melinda Gates and the Rockefellers did not manufacture or have anything to do with creating the seed vault up there in the Arctic Circle. Norway had something to do with it.
Actually, it started with 2 people in Iowa.
Correct. And we'll get into that further and further, but this has taken us down a rabbit hole that we had never expected to find any information out about. So we'll be presenting that probably in the next, oh my gosh, I don't know where we're going to fit that in, because we already have 6 weeks of programming out, and the way
And
we're going, our
I
program.
want to there is something I want to add about this GMO thing really
Uh-huh.
quick before we do anything else.
Okay.
GMO is not necessarily a bad thing. They
No, but it's
modified
not
corn to grow in drier
resist.
soil.
Right, and
Or
to
to
resist insects and stuff. The problem with it is that you can't use it to regrow seed.
And
So
that's where Art was saying he's not even sure that's 100% true in itself. That they're and again, like you see watermelons now. True watermelons used to have a fudge ton of seeds in them,
seeds,
remember?
correct.
Now there's
Now they
less,
have
if not
none,
any.
because they're modified.
And
Mhm.
yes, so it might produce less seeds or less viable seeds.
Correct.
And again, you can still get traditional seeds that can reproduce seeds,
Well,
but
right.
I don't like the fact that again, if you've modified it, and now hybrid seeds, I can understand a hybrid plant because
Right.
like hybrids in the animal world, they're sterile.
Right.
But to have slightly modified it should not have taken its away its right to pass on the genetics. I mean, its
Mm.
ability to pass on genetics to another seed. So I
Before
don't know how
yeah,
accurate it is.
before we go further, I have a stupid question.
Go
So,
ahead.
what is the difference between a veggie burger and a plant-based burger?
Okay, plant-based means it could be soy, um, kale, spinach, anything like that, because those aren't technically veggies. They're leafy greens or they're leafy plants. Veggie is made with beans, primarily,
Soy's
or
a bean.
yes, I get that. I'm talking like any plant. Basically, you can take any edible plant and form it into the shape of a burger.
Right.
Veggie is specifically a veggie plant, if I remember correct, a vegetable plant
All
or
right.
vegetable
I'm
product
just
itself.
having these thoughts because now I'm on seeds. Anyway,
Yeah,
my issue that I have with this whole thing is uh the I did find out that whoever puts the seeds into the vault is the owner of the seeds. So for
and they have a
example,
say who gets to use them.
they get to keep, yeah, they decide. So Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation put in so many seeds. In the event something happens, they take their seeds out and they decide what to do with them. So in effect,
Mhm.
in my mind, they become like a type of currency. And
Yeah.
how does that get decided? There's me and you, right? And how are they going to decide? Yeah, well, you get a tomato seed and you get a tomato seed, but you don't. This is going to be an
Well, this is
interesting,
also why it's important to keep your own seeds.
right?
And there are ways to, store them in like concrete or some kind of solid steel enclosure
Mhm.
if you so choose. I mean, you could put it in a airtight safe type of thing where you
Right.
got to weld a hole in metal box
If it comes
to
to
pull
that
the
point,
seeds
just
out.
send me to the light. You know what I mean? If
I
I
know.
don't, just send me
I'm
to
the
the
same
light.
way.
Um, but we can do the seed portion. Well, we'll see, because we also are going to do a prepping portion that can also deal with how to keep track of your seeds. Again, knowing your whack job co-host here, I actually purchase seeds probably every 3 months, heirloom seeds that I have
I do too.
stored, put away,
Yep.
and I have anything from onion sets to tomato sets to anything from A to Z, from avocados to zucchinis and everything in between. And
Yep.
whether or not I use them, that's fine, but they can get passed along to the family. That's the way I see it.
Yep.
And everybody probably should be doing a little bit of prepping in some respects. So, with that
Yep.
said, I think I'm done for the day if you are. Thank you
I
so
am
much for
done.
my
We went
certificate.
a half hour over, but that's not a big deal.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for my certificate. I'm so happy.
You're very welcome. I'm so proud I could give it to you.
I'm going to I'm going to get it printed and put it in a frame.
I know we say it almost jokingly and sarcastically routinely, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with having some fun with it.
No, there
Especially
isn't.
if you know how to create them and you know how
Mhm.
to do that stuff. Have fun
Yeah,
with it.
it is. It meant it I mean, we spend a lot of time on this stuff.
Oh yes,
I mean,
we
how many
do.
hours? I mean, I can't.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And
Even
that
on our days off when we're not streaming, there is a lot of hours put into this.
mhm. And that is trying to keep up with the current situation, plus continue to work on the what's
Deep
upcoming.
dive.
Yeah, the deep
Yep.
dives. And so what do we have planned for Tuesday, by the way, before we let people go? What are we
Oh,
talking
we're starting the
about?
corrupt politician stuff. We're going to be
Oh.
talking about the politicians, why their arguments and stuff that they've talked about and put forward in their different levels of government, from state to federal levels. There was a whole thing in frickin' Colorado where they're explaining how having abortions actually saves Medicaid a lot of money versus having a baby.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about this stuff,
And we're going
and
and we're going
it's
to
insane.
right, but we're going to start with the people that were on the PowerPoint slide from the economic section. Is that correct?
There is quite a bit in there. Yes, we can
Okay.
pull some more on them, but I have a
Okay.
ton of videos of politicians just talking out of their ass.
Okay.
And it's like,
Well,
really?
we'll we'll figure it out by Tuesday. We have
Oh
tomorrow
yeah.
to decide. So tomorrow, tomorrow and Tuesday morning, we'll figure it out. But
Yeah, I
it'll
was
be,
still looking for some articles on them
yeah.
and
So am
couldn't
I.
I haven't found much, but I've been taking all the links, all the videos and stuff that I've edited down, congressional hearings,
Mm-hmm.
state level House and Senate, cuz there, you know how there's a federal House and Senate. Well,
Right.
there's also
A
a state
state.
level House and Senate.
Right. And then you
And so
have
I
your.
figured y'all should know some of what's going on in those areas too. And
Mm-hmm.
I found a video from a judge over in California, had me laughing my ass off. He was trying to get these frickin' idiots who want these laws made to explain why they think this part of a gun is just this. And then he literally goes into how every single part of a gun could be an accessory to a gun versus the actual part of the gun, all the way down to the frickin' trigger and firing pin mechanisms. Oh my god, I was laughing my ass off. That might be something fun to do on
Oh
a
yeah.
Sunday, is
Mm,
cover him literally. And this guy's actually a competition shooter. He's a competition shooter as well as a judge in California. Holy
so
crap, to
he's
hear him break this down, how things are interchangeable. You can upgrade or downgrade your weapons. He literally breaks it down.
okay. We can check him out. And so this not only, and this goes to your local as well as to your school boards. It just
Yes,
isn't. Yeah,
you're
it is. Yeah,
it is everything from your
right.
town mayor all the way up to the people sitting on the federal government deciding the laws.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be covering a whole bunch of these. Not every single one, but just kind of a general idea of how
Right,
many idiots are in our politician
right.
and political positions right now.
And you wonder, and it makes you wonder how they get elected and who are the people that are electing them. This goes to show you that nobody is looking at what's going on. But
Well, I can
also,
break that all down on Tuesday.
right. All right, that sounds good. That means you want me to shut the F up and get off the channel, right? Is that what you're
Oh,
trying?
no. I'm just saying make it part
Okay.
of the show. Why give it away now?
Oh well, I didn't know. Whatever. Okay, I'm going. I'm going. I'm out. I'm done. It's
You don't have to leave. I'm
no,
just
that's
saying
okay. I'm going.
let's not give away too much of how they can recognize this and what they can do to make a change.
Oh shit! It's yeah. No wonder why Eric was in the kitchen. It's dinner time. Shit.
Oh
All
yeah, you better run. And I will
I'll
close
be in
out
trouble. All right.
and we'll catch you guys on
Yes.
Tuesday
Don't
and I'll be
forget.
on Monday
Right.
with
Yeah. What are
some
you
of that
doing on Monday?
information I can
That's
find.
tomorrow. What are you doing tomorrow?
I was going to cover some of those bizarre execution cases that we
Oh
found for
yes.
the different ages.
Yes.
And while we're still trying to hunt down the factual one of what Judge Joe Brown brought
Brown
up
said.
when
Right.
we covered last Sunday.
Right.
So,
Yeah. We
yep.
still can't find anything on that either. So we don't know if he has his information wrong or what.
Yes, local politicians is the most corrupt ones.
Uh huh.
Exactly. Yep. And funny enough, those local ones tend to go up a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to leave it there.
All right. Everybody have a good weekend. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, share, follow us.
All that fun
Please.
stuff.
All that fun stuff. We'll see you on Crazy B. Will see you Monday. I might be on babysitting duty, so I may or may not be there. I definitely will not be there on Wednesday, Crazy B.
Yep.
You're on your own on that one. And so hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If not, I'll see you all on Tuesday. Have a good Sunday, everybody.
Have a great one, folks, and we'll see you later.